from 24 to 50%, depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy Paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just failed.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome. You're listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipes Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. There's the phone number. You can hit me on Twitter also at KAB41. This is Happy New Year. My first show of the new year. New year. New attitude. New me. I'm looking forward to 2021. 2020 is in our rearview mirrors, and we are looking forward to a great 2021. Guys, I always try to start off the show or end the show, saying something positive, about your fellow man. So continue to look out for your fellow man, guys. We're still in the midst of the coronavirus. Hopefully we can come together, to flatten the curve and get this behind us. And January is always a good time of the year to set your resolutions, follow your resolutions. Already, how many people have broken their resolutions already? It's only January 4th. But nonetheless, it's a good time of the year, trying to take a deep breath and exhale. But taking a deep breath, man, did Friday night. This is the last time we're going to talk about the Ohio State Clemson game because we had to turn a page after today. But Friday night, New Year's Day, the Buckeyes played the Clemson Tigers. And y'all know how that ended. We got a lot to talk about that. 49-28, favor of the Ohio State University. They started the weekend off with a great way, started the year off with a great way. What else happened this weekend? The Cleveland Browns said, hey, we stepping into 2021 the right way. We're going to punch our tickets to the playoffs. And yet that they did. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at home to secure, their playoff futures. It's always, you didn't have to worry about scoreboard watching. You win and you're in. If you lose, you need some help. If you're tired, you need some. They ain't had to worry about all that. They took care of everything. It took 60 minutes to do it. But being a former player, we always talk about it's a 60-minute game. We played the whole game. And that's what the Cleveland Browns did. Even though the onside kick looked kind of shaky, nevertheless, they recovered it, and they went ahead and got a first down and ended the game and put the Steelers out of their misery. But it just felt real good to see the Cleveland Browns make the playoffs. It's a team I grew up watching as a kid, so kudos to them. The Cincinnati Bengals, we're not going to let you bring us down either. You lost 38-3. We'll talk a little bit about that. But the good thing about that, Bengals don't lose anymore. Their season's over with. So 2020 is officially in the rearview mirror, for those guys, as well. So what a weekend of football. My wife was like, what are you doing today? This was on Friday. Honey, I'm doing it. What time does Ohio State play? They don't play till tonight, but I'm doing it. This is like 12 o'clock. I got to watch all these. This is, a college football junkie's favorite weekend is to sit back and watch all these college football games. And so that's what I did all weekend long, other than to go to the store, come back and watch some more football. So it was good to watch it. And let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it. Dabo Swinney. I'm sure a lot of people saw the memes when, Dabo said Ohio State is the 11th ranked team in the country. Number 11, he didn't even make top 10 on his list. But some of those internet memes were just so funny. One of my favorite ones, they said, Dabo said, no, I meant they play on the 11th, which is next Monday. It was a national championship game against Alabama Crimson Tide. You know how it happened last time Ohio State played them in 2004 in the semifinal. Still see Ezekiel Elliott running down the field on that 85-yard touchdown run. Of course, the Buckeyes won that game, and that's not going to have any bearings on what's going to happen Monday night. You know, nobody's in the building in the locker room that was on either one of those teams, 6 years ago. But that's why we love college football. It's such a tradition, of everything. But Dabo Swinney, you talk all that trash. Oh, I mean, and one of them, even go as far as back as high school. Your high school coaches tell you, do not give the opponent bulletin board material. You've been hearing it all your life. You say it, in college all the time. Even in the pros. Pros is a little different. The coach is like, okay, if you say it, you better make sure you go out there and back it up. And that's a different standard. But college, come on, coach. What kind of example are you setting for your players? You talk about watching, the battle of the words. And of course, Ohio State was going to be motivated anyway, so that's not motivational material. Come on, you know better. Ohio State is going to be motivated, but you just gave them extra motivation by ranking them 11th. If you really felt that way on your list, if nobody had played 9 games, you wouldn't rank them in your top 10. Why didn't you say that in August when nobody had played 0 games? So he's dead wrong. He's a sore loser. And he didn't want Ohio State to make the playoffs because Ohio State makes the playoffs, he knew he was going to probably have to face them at some point. And we saw what happened. The better team won. It's just I have the utmost respect for the Clemson players. Their school, and everything. And I'll give Dabo some respect, not all my respect. You give me some, but the Buckeyes were the better team. And it was just not even close. Justin Fields, he answered, not that he had to answer any questions. If you watch Justin Fields over the last 2 years, you know who Justin Fields is. He's a dynamic player, just an awesome player, and he's deserving of all the praise, that he has gotten up to this point. And I tell you, 6 touchdown passes. 6 touchdown passes. 22 of 28, 385 yards, 1 interception, another 8 carries for 42 yards. Guys, that was the MVP performance. MVP performance. The Heisman Trophy ceremony is tomorrow. And, ever since 1984, when I was the runner-up, I refused to watch the Heisman anymore. So I would not be watching it tomorrow. They've already come up with some of the voting. Justin Fields finished 7th, and he is by no means the 7th, best player in college football. He should be, a finalist. That performance last night just solidified that he should be there. And one other thing that I want to talk about before I get to this caller is that the Big Ten gets so disrespected, so disrespected by the national media, only because they're jealous of the Big Ten. The Big Ten has the largest stadiums, the biggest crowds, and the more, passionate fans. Not taking anything away from the schools in the South, and they have big stadiums too, but they don't have as big and as more fill up as they do in the Midwest and the longest tradition. So they always downplay it. But you look at ACC this year in the bowl games. The Atlantic Coast Conference did not win a bowl game. They were 0-6. Nobody from the ACC, that's where Clemson plays out of, they did not win a bowl game. And that's one of the barometers that they measure how strong, how good your conference is when the bowl season. They didn't win any games. 0. Yet the Big Ten, and they want to talk about Justin Fields from time to time, and he didn't have those great games against Indiana and against Northwestern. Spoiler alert. Northwestern probably has the best secondary in the country, and that's including Ohio State. They have, so who looked great against Northwestern secondary this year? Nobody. Ask Auburn about that. But I'm gonna go to the call. We have Jeff, Tennessee Jeff. Tennessee Jeff. He was at the game. Okay, he was in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl.
Man, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing awesome. Tell me about it.
Where do I begin? I may take a breath first. You better take a breath and fasten your seatbelt.
Okay.
We got down to, Keith, I don't know if you were down there. Were you down there in 14 when we played Bama?
No, I was going to go, but I said, no, I'm going to wait and go to the championship game in Dallas against Oregon.
Okay. Like all the Bama fans did.
There was quite a few seats available.
So, all right, so we get down there, and I'm not a big fan of it. You've been all over the country because you play ball for years. New Orleans is nice, man, but I just literally booked hotels and not a house in Hollywood. We're going to Miami. We're leaving Friday. So about the game Saturday. I'm sorry, Friday. Whatever the hell. I literally just drove in I drove to New Orleans, dude. So
from where? Are you in Tennessee or are you in Ohio?
Centerville.
Centerville. Okay.
Yeah,
God bless you. That's a heck of a drive.
I'm on Spring Valley as we speak, driving to Kroger. So anyhow, I get down there, and now keep in mind, I follow this program as closely as a lot of people. I'm friends with a lot of the staff, Pantone, and Stanford, Ryan Day, name them. So I got a pretty good pulse of this football team, and I am down quite a bit. I have a really close friend down in it's called Chester, South Carolina, which is basically near Clemson. So we talk a lot, and I have a place down there also. And when I tell you, man, this sounds cliche, but I'm telling you, we wanted this team so bad, and we just flat out wanted it more. And I even talked to a guy at a pilot truck stop in Alabama on the way down. I was posing as a Michigan. I had no Buckeye stuff on, rare. And I said, let me ask you something. How do you feel about the game? I'm talking. This is exactly what he did. He went, come on, man. It's Ohio State. We kicked the boot. Dude, I'm telling you, their whole fan base from down.
That much disrespect. That much disrespect for the Buckeyes. That much disrespect, huh?
Yeah, and you know, Keith, you play ball long enough. If you get slapped in the mouth, man, enough times, and Ryan Day and this team knew it. Like they knew, Keith, they knew they were going to beat Clemson, and not only did they know it. And Keith, when I'm telling you, I was in the second level when I was at the game. I knew a couple parents. I knew Justin Hilliard. Dad said, "Dude, come on now," because only parents were down in the lower level behind the team, on really good seats. And Justin, he said, "Come on, man." So I go down there. Keith, I'm watching these guys, man. And you've been playing ball long enough to know in the fourth quarter, if you're up 3 touchdowns, sometimes you tend to let the foot off the gas. Dude, this defense was they
kept the pedal to the metal.
Punish them, bro. They were trying to. I'm telling you, after what they did to Justin Austin, they ran them out for 370 days to the day, running them out, and we had another crack. There is no way in this earth we're losing that game. I knew we would beat this team. I didn't think we'd beat them down, but we by 3 minutes into the fourth quarter, like I don't know, 12-11. I never forget. I looked up and I saw Sean Wade tackle, and I could hear. I can't say it on the air, but I could hear what they were saying. This guy, they broke their will, Keith. They broke their will.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
They broke their will, man. And when I tell you, they knew going to this game. Clemson thought they knew, but Clemson got punched in the freaking mouth off jump, and we knew going in this game we beat them. So Alabama's a different animal. I believe in my heart, if we play like we did against Clemson, we can beat, because where the heck, last 2 points, I know you'll take other call. Last 2 things I want to say. You're a running back. You were the best in the world at what you did, Keith. Where was Trey Sermon, dog? Was it because he didn't know the off? I mean, I talked to Tony Alford, the running back coach. I'm like, what happened? 2 games, he's got like 500 some yards. So that's a plus. If he can,
he's toting that ball extremely well right now. He's running with confidence and with authority, and he wasn't doing that early in the season. Yeah. But last point, I'll let you make last point because I gotta get to break. Good. I guess Tennessee said it. But we got to get a great call, Tennessee, Jeff. I really appreciate the call. We're going to go to break, and we're going to talk more about the Buckeyes against Clemson, the Browns against the Steelers, and the future of the Cincinnati Bengals after the break. You've been listening to the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me. Get granular. Keep me in the pipeline. But nada. Nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you practice how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, good evening, officer. A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, I'm a catch, more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
Oh, what? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Roosters would like to thank all of our loyal guests and all the loyal Buckeye fans for your support this year. Because of you, we've been able to stay open and keep our award-winning team employed. Our team members go above and beyond and are dedicated to providing you and your family the safest dining experience possible while still providing a fun, casual atmosphere to relax, laugh, and enjoy our award-winning food. Roosters, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, you. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me. Get granular. Keep me in the pipeline. But nada. Nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Well, howdy
Thanks for coming to Big Bubba's. We got a mess of used cars. What can we do for you?
We're looking for
Something cute.
Well, here's a beauty, a 99 model with a moon roof. As a bonus, we'll throw in a leaking gas tank. You can be driving and kaboom! That's that zing of excitement.
You got any other cars?
Wouldn't it be great if you could be warned of life's risks? If you have diabetes, you can. There's a simple blood test called A1C that can help measure your risk of complications such as heart attack. Why is it important? Because 2 out of 3 people with diabetes die from a heart attack or stroke. If your A1C is above 7, your doctor can show you how to lower it. If you have diabetes, know your risk for heart attack. Know your A1C. Ask your doctor, or for more information, go to www.diabetesa1c.org or call 1-877-TEST-A1C. Brought to you by the American Diabetes Association, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation International, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. You can hit me on Twitter also at KAB41 is my Twitter handle. It's lunchtime, so hopefully you'll see Lee's riding down the street. There's one over here on your left. Put your blinker on, turn on over there and get you some. I just had me a little snack in between on the break, so it's good. But let's get back to the show. Wow. Yesterday, I posted on my social media my Mount Rushmore question of the day. And I've heard a lot of different answers. And so I know Mount Rushmore only has 4 presidents, but my Mount Rushmore college football programs has 6. And so feel free to call in. Let me know who you think is on your Mount Rushmore. Mine is in no particular order, but I'm going to start with Ohio State University. That's 1. Alabama would be 2. The team up north would be 3. USC would be 4. Oklahoma would be 5. And Notre Dame would be 6. That's my Mount Rushmore of the top college football programs of all time. You know, notice who didn't make the list, and they shouldn't be on the list. Clemson. That's like new money. It's like you just got a new car, and people have been having those type of cars, you know, for a long time. You know, well, we just came out. I got this Kia. Kia is a very nice car, but it doesn't, you know, hold enough candle to what Cadillac has been doing for years. Mercedes have been doing for years. So, you know, Chevrolet, Ford, they've been making cars a whole lot longer than Kia. Nothing wrong with Kia, great car. I may own one day, but it's still new. It can't be with these higher ups. And as the programs I mentioned are along those lines. Great programs for a long, long time. But so feel free to answer that question, you know, on social media. But I want to talk, I'm talking about a lot of different things today between the football, between the Buckeyes, the Bengals, and the Browns. But the Cleveland Browns, they're celebrating, and it's like we're celebrating Ohio State winning the Sugar Bowl. But after I get off the air today, the celebration is officially over because it's time to get back to business, you know, at hand. And that is, you know, all in on Alabama. And it's even shorter window if you're a Cleveland Brown fan. You know, you won yesterday afternoon, and so you had over 24 hours. Well, you've had almost 24 hours to celebrate it, but it's time to turn the page. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be waiting for you again. You know, I don't even want to call it a rematch, you know, because that was regular season. Regular season, you know, is over. And I would pause for a real quick second. I have a big family, guys. I don't know if you know that. I'm the 4th of 5 kids. My father is one of 8, and my mother was one of 15 kids. So if you have, that means I have a lot of aunts, a lot of uncles, and a boatload of cousins, and we're coast to coast in the Byars family. And this weekend, we're still going to be lovable. We're still going to love one another. But family ties will be tested because I have a ton of family in Pittsburgh. That's where my father was born and raised at. So these Steeler fans and the Byars family, you know, we've been going at it all my life. And here I am on the show. I get a text from one of my family members, one of my cousins. And he knew I grew up a Cleveland Browns fan. I think I've never made that no secret. Everyone who listens to the show knows that. And I was a Browns fan all the way up until the Eagles drafted me. So I still have I have a special place in my heart, you know, for the Browns. I want to see them do well. And so my cousin texted me a few minutes ago, and he said, enjoy part one, meaning yesterday at that victory. He said part two is going to be a different story because it's the playoffs. And he's already harassing Baker Mayfield. He said Baker Mayfield has at least one or possibly two pick sixes in him. So they're just sitting back. And I'm cheering for the Browns. I want to see the Browns beat the Steelers because the Steelers are probably, they share my most hated NFL franchise. Them and the Cowboys. And you know which one is number one? They're like conjoined twins of my hate and dislike for those organizations. You know, the teams, not necessarily people. You know, because there's been people that played on both teams. I love Ezekiel Elliott, love Roger Staubach, I love Hollywood Henderson, Tony Dorsett. You know, L.C. Greenwood, Mel Blount. You know, Jerome Bettis. It's the players I love. Just with the team I don't like. So it's never personal like that, you know, with me. So I know my family and my Steeler family can't wait to wear me out if the Browns lose. And the other part of my family, on a college level, you know, my grandfather was from Alabama. So I have a ton of family in Alabama, and they're coast to coast too. And they, you know, they roll tide. And you know, 6 years ago when the Buckeyes spanked them, you know, I had bragging rights, and I still have bragging rights. And then after next Monday, I will continue to have bragging rights because we're going to get into that too. So I know you guys have families too that are all over, but I just wanted to pause and just, you know, interject that because I know I have family members listening to, but I have the big mic, so I get to have the last word, you know, and that's concerning. I know you guys, you know, you can't even here in Dayton, Ohio, you be at a stoplight, and you're like, man, what is this guy with a Steeler flag on his car? This is Browns and Bengals area. How is that? And be honest, the Steeler fans in this area are really obnoxious. I love a lot of them, but they can be obnoxious about their terrible towels and all that good stuff. So that's going to be even more, you know, of add to the intrigue of the game this weekend between the Browns and the Steelers. Because one thing to beat the Steelers in the regular season, and the Browns have done that the last 2 years, but now they have an opportunity to do it in the postseason. And when you put a team out in the postseason, that means more. It is, you know, the last time the Browns made the playoffs, 18 years ago. And who put them out? The Steelers. So what would be even sweeter to put the Steelers out at the playoffs, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, than a team that was 11-0, had thoughts and was thinking about being undefeated, and 72 Dolphins was like, hold on, wait a minute. But they still finished 12-4. I mean, I don't mean to say but 12-4, by no means. And I just want to expound on that for a moment. Back in September, when I talk about, you know, how the NFL season is a long season, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And the only thing you're guaranteed is 16 games. And those 16 games, you know, you got to give your, you know, go all out. When it's all said and done, how do we shake out? You know, because you can't go to, it's not college football. You can't be counting victories. Oh, yeah, back in August, oh, we should win this game. We're going to split with them. And I think we should easily win 10 games, maybe even 12. And then other teams, I don't even think they're going to win, you know, 3 games at best. They probably won't win a game. And so you sit there and you analyze schedules back in July and August before the season starts. Guys are picking their fantasy teams. But then the season starts. And then injuries happen. Then, you know, surprising teams come up. Teams are expecting to play well, they don't play well. And then you all said and done. But then when you look at it, I just woke up this morning and I opened the internet and looked at the, you know, the schedule. Look at the records. I mean, Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champs, they go 14-2. And people are like, well, they're the defending champs. They're supposed to go for it. You know how hard it is to go 14-2. You know, because it's hard. Every time you win, every Sunday throughout the NFL season, no matter how your team won, you have to feel good because it's hard to win. Whether you scored a lot of points and won the game or very few and won the game. A win is a win is a win is a win. And the same can be said on losses. Man, that was a tough loss we had. Man, that ball, like yesterday, was it Tennessee? The ball hit the upright and still went through and beat, you know, there. You're like, oh, he dunked it. You know, Cody Parker's name was trending on Twitter for a few hours. You know, those happen. Sometimes you get the break, sometimes you don't. So if you was a Houston Texan, you're thinking overtime, and oh man, they kicked that field goal off the upright. It happens. It happens. And so that's why when you lose, it hurts. When you win, it feels good. You know, so Kansas City Chiefs go 14-2, followed by the Buffalo Bills. You know, they finally just got back in the playoffs last year, and they have a 13-3 season. 13-3. That's just awesome. You know, I said the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers go 12-4. New Orleans Saints go 12-4. Green Bay Packers 13-3. You know, Seattle Seahawks, you know, who at the early season, he had my MVP vote was Russell Wilson. You know, but you played one game that they had that tough loss a few weeks ago to the New York Giants. Otherwise, they'd have been 13-3. So the teams I mentioned, they only lost one game a month or no games a month on the average over the course of the season. You know, then you got them 11-5. It is very hard to go 11-5 in the league. You know, I've been 12-4 before. I've never been 13-3. Never was 14-2. You know, but I've been 11-5 a few times. And the Cleveland Browns finished 11-5. You know, how many years ago was that? They went 0-16? Was that 4 years ago, Justin? 4 years ago, 0-16. There's no way you would believe they would be 11-5 4 years later. If somebody would have told you they would be 11-5 4 years ago, you'd be clicking your heels and be like, yeah. But it was times this season when the Browns were 2-2. Same old Browns. Oh, I don't know which way they're going to go. And then the halfway point, they were 5-3. Maybe. And then look how the season is, 11-5. You take that every day, every year, if you're a Browns fan. You would never turn your nose up at 11-5. Look at the Indianapolis Colts. They're bringing a new quarterback. You know, Phillip Rivers, they go 11-5. But then you look at the other end of the spectrum, the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1-15. Cincinnati, do you know anything about that? You know, 1-15. Cincinnati was that not too long ago. The New York Jets, 2-14. They finally fired the coach. They gave him his walking papers last night. They were like, what took you so long? What took you so long? That's my former team. What took you so long? The Houston Texans, 4-12. Now, Houston, they've had some issues. I mean, you watch them all season, they look like a 4-12 team? No. They play a whole lot better. It's not going to take much for them to fix what they have. And this time next year, they can be a team. I could be saying, man, you know, last year they were 4-12. Look at them this year. Very easily, they could probably either be 10-6 or 11-5 next year, or put that in the mirror. They could be 12-4. You got a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. Look at my Philadelphia Eagles. Oh my gosh. 4-11-1. And they caught a lot of flack last night by putting in Studfield, and it took Jalen Hurts out. They are trying to lose. Are they trying to lose? The Giant fans was upset. They're like, Giant fans, you had 16 games to handle your business. It's not the Eagles' job to help you make the playoffs. Now, the Eagles were terrible all season. They just weren't terrible last night. You know, did I agree with Doug Peterson taking Jalen Hurts out of the game? Heck no, I didn't agree. You know, but don't get mad at the Eagles if you're a Giant fan. Or Cowboys, they lost. They couldn't get mad. The Giant fans, you have no reason to be upset with the Eagles, what the Eagles did last night. The Eagles been looking terrible all season. If the Eagles had won the game, and I believe it was winnable, they still wouldn't go in the playoffs. They would be drafted about 8th or 9th. They would have moved up. But by losing, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got the 5th pick of the draft. They got the 5th pick of the draft as opposed to the 7th or 8th. Whatever. But it's bad. You don't want to be that team at the bottom, fellas. Which leads me to the Cincinnati Bengals. I've been nice up to this point. Bengal fans, I've been saying it for the last month. You deserve better. I was been saying every week on my show, Zach Taylor must go, and I was going to lead with Zach Taylor must go today. Announce it. But we got a different kind of announcement earlier this morning. Where did we get from the owner, Paul Brown? He will be back. I'm being bullish. I'm going bullish on Zach Thomas. He'll be back. So 6 wins in 2 years is enough to keep your job in this NFL city in Cincinnati. 6 wins. Enough to keep your job in 2 years. So his first year, I call it his rookie season last year. He's a rookie head coach. He wins 2 games. What happens this year? He doubles his win total. He goes from 2 to 4. Ooh, 4-11-1. 4-11-1. And he's keeping his job. So how many does he have to win next year? 2 more games? 6 wins, and 6-10 is good enough, Cincinnati? All he needs to win is 2 more games? Oh, maybe he had to double his win total to keep his job next year. 8-8? 8-8 is good enough to keep your job? Come on. Cincinnati, you're becoming the Cleveland Browns, where Cleveland Browns were for many years. You're a laughing stock, because the Hill organization, it starts from the top, not the bottom. It starts from the top, not the bottom. So when your leadership is bad, it's going to flow down. That's like when you walk around and you're not thinking right, you're not making good decisions, your body's going to follow. So the front office is the brain trust for the Cincinnati Bengals. You have to be right in the front office. Otherwise, you're not hardly going anywhere. Look at the New England Patriots. Their front office was in somewhat tattered with the Kraft things that he did. But Belichick and everything, they have them always positioned to do well. And this was an absolutely atrocious season in New England. And they still won 7 games. 7 games, and it's atrocious. The Bengals roster were better than the Patriots roster. The Patriots had nothing. They knew that from the beginning. No Tom Brady. No salary cap relief. No Gronkowski. Nothing. And they still win 7 games. Right? If the Bengals had won 7 games, I think Zach Taylor would be getting a contract extension. But he would have been headed in the right direction. If you go from 2 wins to 7, we could see improvement. But 2 to 4 is not improvement. Just because they played well 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, 2 of the last 3 weeks of the season, that's enough to keep your job. Oh, they beat, they came out like gangbusters and played hard. They're supposed to do that 16 games a year. They're supposed to always do that. But Bengals, until you get serious, the owner of the team, nobody fires the owner except himself. And the job of the owner, he needs to look at his job description, hire the right football people and get out the way. And show up on Super Bowl Sunday. You show up in the AFC Championship games and collect the trophies. But other than that, hire people and get out of the way and show up on game day, take your seat in the owner's booth, in the owner's suite, and enjoy the product. But you have to trust that you're going to hire the right football people and get out the way. That's where it starts in Cincinnati. Hire the right general manager, the player personnel department, the scouting department. All of that needs to be revamped. And then you put the right people in the locker room. And then the leadership will come. You don't make a rookie quarterback your team captain. That's unfair to Joe Burrows to make him a team captain. Make him a leader. You don't do that to young players. Let the leadership just come naturally. You need to have some vets in there that know that's all about the Cincinnati Bengals and the community, and they need to get the community involved. And then you'll feel like we're in this together. But the Bengals are out there on an island of abyss, just out there all by themselves and doing it their own way and going nowhere. No roadmaps. I mean, what do you have to feel good about in Cincinnati? Well, we got a good quarterback. He's hurt, but we don't know how good Joe Burrows is because he didn't play 16 games. And I've never been that guy that crowns a kid for greatness after one season. Joe hasn't even played 16 games yet. Joe has the potential to be great. What I've seen out of Joe Burrow, I like it. I like it a lot. I want to see more of it. But he has to play games on the field. He had, and my rule is I need 3 years to see how good you are. That means your film has been around, people have studied you, and yet you're still making plays. You're Pat Mahomes. You are Deshaun Watson. Somebody said something? Somebody said Baker Mayfield in there. And then my producer hollered Baker Mayfield. No, Baker is not in that class yet. One thing about Baker Mayfield has working for him, he's young. So he has potential to still grow up into that. And speaking of Baker real quick, he did have that nice, he had a nice game yesterday. Don't worry about statistics. Statistics only tell you part of the story. They don't tell the whole story. He had no interceptions. He had a touchdown pass, 17 to 27. He was efficient. And he took care of the football. When he ran the football with the game on the line, he held on to it, stayed in bounds, kept the clock running. Last week against the Jets, game-winning drive, 4th down, he went for it, fumbled. Ugh. So I was happy to see Baker keep the ball and show, but that was leadership. That was a step in the right direction. That was winning football. But that's one good play, one bad play, net average. So Baker, go play well in the playoffs. That's where you make your real name, is in the playoffs. Because once you get to the playoffs, that's what separates good from great, from greatness to immortal. You think of all the big plays that you've seen in your lifetime in the NFL, majority of them, not all, of course, but majority of the big plays of your favorite players happens in the playoffs. Your favorite teams happens in the playoffs. I mean, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the immaculate reception that Franco Harris had. That happened in 1972, yet, 72, yet we were still remembering. No, 73. Maybe it was 73. 1972 or 73. Either way, it's almost 50 years ago. It stands out. You're a San Francisco 49er fan. This the catch. You can still see Dwight Clark and Joe Montana jumping up and catching that ball. Insert adjective there is playoff time. That's where you make your main name. I played in the Fog Bowl. I played in a lot of games in Philadelphia. People remember the Fog Bowl. The Philly Special. The Eagles fan. The Leon Lett play for Cowboy fans. Even though the Cowboys won the game, they's like, man, we still remember that. That's what stands out of that Super Bowl. And the playoff performances. That's where Marshawn Lynch got beast mode come from, when he had that touchdown run in the playoffs. So it is playoff games. And if you are a competitor, you want to play in the playoffs. That's where you make your name in all sports. I mean, Steph Curry has 62 points last night. But we remember Steph Curry in the NBA Finals more so we're going to remember the 62-point game. I mean, what's the most points Michael Jordan ever got in the game? I think it was like 69, I believe. I don't even remember who it was. I just remember Michael Jordan in the playoffs. Kareem is the all-time scoring leader, but all I can remember him hitting those sky hook in Game 6 in the Boston Garden. Magic Johnson. So when you are a professional athlete, you make your name in the playoffs. I can still see Kirby Puckett breaking the hearts of Philadelphia fans when he hit that home run. Kirby Puckett, no, it's Toronto. That's Joe Carter I'm thinking of. Joe Carter hit the home run and it felt like games, win a World Series, a walk-off. That's unbelievable. That's what you dream of. So if I'm a Cleveland Brown, I'm dreaming of what is my moment? What is my moment going to be? what is my moment going to be? I mean, I have a few of them, you know. I played in the Super Bowl 31 I played in. We lost, but I can still remember, hey, I scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And a lot of people say, remember that. I had a couple big plays in the Super Bowl. That's where you separate yourself. It's playoff time. You know, Nick Chubb, 1,000-yard rusher, awesome. But Nick Chubb, now's the time. You go into Pittsburgh and y'all bring back a victory, Browns fans will remember it for a very, very long time. But that would only be one game. It's time to turn the page. Just like Ohio State, we love beating Clemson. Loved it. But it's time to turn the page. The celebration is over. And, you know, I even saw the defensive coordinator, Kerry Combs, doing snow angels in the confetti. I was like, I think you're a little over-celebrating, Coach. Let the athletes do that. You save your confetti dance for next week against Alabama. That's where you're going to really enjoy a confetti dance once you beat Alabama. You know, next week, you know, on the show, because that's going to be the day of the game, I'm going to get into a deeper analysis of Ohio State, Alabama. And so just briefly, before I'm running out of time here, briefly, Ohio State, Alabama, what are going to be some of the keys and things you're going to hear about between now and over the next week, between now and next Monday night? It's going to be similar to what you heard. It won't be as loud as what you heard against Ohio State and Clemson, but it's going to be, we all know it's a foregone conclusion that Alabama's going to win. It's going to be how much they're going to win, not if they're going to win. How many points? Who can stop this guy? Who can stop that guy? So don't get upset when you hear about it, when you're at work and your buddy's telling you there's no chance Ohio State has against Alabama. So you're going to hear all that all week long. You may have to turn your TVs off and, you know, you get tired of hearing it. You know, they're going to sit there and beat up on Ohio State. We don't care. We don't care because like one of our mottos here in Ohio, it's us against the world. So it'll be Ohio State against the world. But the world is ours because you cannot go anywhere on this planet without seeing an Ohio State flag, without being in an Ohio State bar, without Ohio State alumni. We are everywhere. We're like air. We are everywhere. And so I'm not going down to Miami. I had plans of going down to Miami pre-pandemic. I said, oh, yeah, man, the national championship game is going to be in Miami, Dolphin Stadium, old stomping grounds. I'll definitely be there. Well, me and my wife, we'll be at home Monday night watching it, you know, from my living room, my man cave. I have my favorite chair. I'll be watching that game, you know, Friday night when my wife, she leaves me alone a lot of times. Like, just do what you do. She heard me screaming. She come running out of the room. What's wrong? Hey, the Buckeyes scored. I'm okay. Just back up. The Buckeyes scored. You know, because I'm running up and down, you know, running into the house, screaming, you know, everything. So I'm a fit, you know, when I watch the Buckeyes. So I need to be alone unless I'm at the game. And even when I'm at the game, I laugh and joke during TV timeouts. When ball snaps, whistles blow, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm focused in on what is going on in the game, you know, because I really am playing mentally. I'm just not playing physically in the game. I'm mentally into the game. I'm sure a lot of you guys listeners, you know, view the game, you know, the same way. You know, I just personally, you know, I can't go to watch parties. You know, people say, hey, man, let's come over to my house. Let's watch the game together. I would come over. We'll order some, you know, some food and we'll sit around and cheer. I can't do that. I could only do that when the Buckeyes aren't playing. You know, so I've been to some national championship game watch parties in the past, you know, pre-pandemic, only if the Buckeyes weren't in. But if the Buckeyes were in, I'm usually at the game where I don't have to worry about going to a watch party. But like the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's coming up in a little over a month. You know, my favorite team will not be in the Super Bowl. And so will I go to a Super Bowl party? I don't know. Depends on what's going on. But let's say without the pandemic, possibly. Or I would either have people have a Super Bowl party at my house and let's watch the game. But I'm a watch party type of guy. If we're coming to watch the football game, let's watch the football game. We can eat and laugh and joke during the TV timeouts or commercials. But when the game is on, I want to be with serious watchers of the game. That's how I watch the game of football. If I'm here to watch the game, that's why I'm not here to socialize and laugh and joke. That's what commercials are for. So I don't know what kind of fan you are, but that's the kind of fan, that I am. And that's how, I watch, the game. But like I said, the Browns making the playoffs, that is a good thing. Please, Browns fans, don't take it for granted. Enjoy it. But, get ready. Now you want to win. Now you want to win because the Browns haven't been in the playoffs in 18 years. So I'm not here to, to be a wet rag on your parade. Enjoy it. Enjoy the playoffs all week long. Enjoy the extra week of work as a player. Enjoy it because, as you Browns fans know, the playoffs aren't always guaranteed. They aren't, 18 years in between playoff stops. So while you're there, go on and win the thing. Go on and win the thing. Who's to say the Browns can't win it all? Not I, because you got to be in it to win it. The Browns are in it. The only team we know for sure ain't going to win it is the Cincinnati Bengals because you ain't in the tournament. But you're in the Super Bowl tournament. Go forth. I wish the Browns the best. I want to see them have good success. And we'll all see how it shakes out. But the Buckeyes, stay healthy, stay COVID-free. I don't want to hear pick up the paper, on Monday afternoon, we got 20 guys out or whatever because of COVID. The most healthiest team is going to win the national championship, and hopefully the best team win the national championship. That means they're both healthy, and then the best team will get it settled on the football field on Monday night. So get your blessings and prayers out that Ohio State and Alabama both stay, COVID-free. You've been listening to the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. I'll see you on the next time.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.